my cartoon about Gaza isn't going to make them pro-Gaza, but the power that I have through publishing cartoons in a newspaper is that I get to choose which topics people can think about. So if I draw a lot about Gaza, that means that people think about Gaza a lot, and I think that's the main power that you have as a cartoonist. My name is Tjeerd Royards. I am an editorial cartoonist from the Netherlands. I work for a Dutch newspaper called Trouw. And I also publish my work in various newspapers and magazines throughout Europe. I think it's always great to win an award because as an artist you want recognition for your work, and the fact that a jury says, hey, your work resonated with an audience means that I did my job. I did a good job, which is great, but I think in a broader sense, having these kinds of awards puts the spotlight on political cartoons and political satire in general, and kind of sends a message to the audience that political cartoons are an important medium. So I think that's maybe even more important. I think the power of cartoons, or the space for cartoons and satire, is shrinking in Europe. In general, so for all topics, and that has mainly to do with the rise of populism and the rise of autocrats in different European countries. That means that freedom of expression is under pressure. In the Netherlands, it's still very much a free country, so I'm very lucky to be a cartoonist here, because in this country we still have a lot of freedom of expression. And when it comes to Gaza, it's kind of counterintuitive, because I feel that for a lot of topics there's more and more censorship within Europe, but I actually feel that for Gaza and for drawing about Palestine, I think we have more space than we had a couple of years ago. And I think that has to do with the fact that a lot of international experts have called what is happening in Gaza genocide. There's been more and more awareness about the bloodshed that's going on, and as that awareness spread and the indignation of the audience spread, I, as a cartoonist, have more power to do sharper cartoons. So for instance, the cartoon that I did that won the European Cartoon Award, I would probably not have been able to publish that in my newspaper 2 years ago, but I was able to publish it this year precisely because the conflict has been going on for a while, because it's been so bloody, and there was more space to do sharper criticism of Israel because of that. I think 90% of the reactions I got were positive. I think it is an artist's responsibility, and maybe especially a political cartoonist responsibility, to take a stand when things are going on. I don't know if I consider myself to be an artist. I consider myself more to be kind of a journalist, or more closely tied to journalism than to artists or art. So as a political cartoonist, I do feel it's my responsibility to take a stand and to give my opinion when there are injustices or other things going on in the world that I think are wrong. I think the core of my job is to kind of point out things in society, whether it's here in the Netherlands or internationally, where I think, hey, that's going wrong, or people should think about that. There's something going on there that we need to solve, and that's what I draw about. So I think taking a stand and having a message about what is wrong and what people should think about is probably at the core of being a political cartoonist.